Gamma. Gamma, 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 gamma. Why do I say gamma a lot in this video? Stay tuned and find out. Hello Rage Quitters, my name is Terminator UK and today we're back for another video review. This time we're looking at the Dell S2716DG G-Sync monitor. It's a 27-inch panel, 1440p and 144Hz. It features a 1 millisecond grey to grey TN panel, so you get a very responsive screen. But why did I say gamma 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 like some crazy person at the start of the video? That is about the only thing I'm going to say wrong about this particular screen. If you've heard of some of the stories of the Asus Republic of Gamers Swift PG278Q, unfortunately this has got a similar kind of problem. That out of the box you'll find that the gamma, and if you look at some of the professional reviews, is rated for 1.9 rather than the ideal of 2.2. Doesn't sound like much, but it's really frustrating because this is a quality 8-bit panel. It's not a 6-bit panel with frame rate control like you get for the majority of cheaper TN screens. It's a proper native 8-bit panel. You can see underneath the glare of the gamma, you can see really nice colours. But why did Dell calibrate it or not calibrate it in this way in the factory without that 2.2 gamma? It's just beyond beggars belief. This could have been the absolutely ideal monitor. Unfortunately, the only way to correct those colours, as we'll show in just a moment, is that you either need to use an ICC profile or you need to use the NVIDIA control panel to adjust the gamma settings. That's great, you can make the screen look amazing in desktop mode. So if you're into Microsoft Office in 144Hz, this is the monitor for you, and we highly recommend it. If you're into gaming like us, not so good, because unfortunately with the majority of the games, coupled with NVIDIA drivers, I hear this isn't such an issue with AMD drivers, that gamma setting does not hold when the game starts. Well, not for every single game, and therefore you can get mixed results. Some games are great, some games are not so good. Which leads me on to the next point. Why did they not put a gamma control into the monitor itself? If you look at some screens like the BenQ XL2730Z, for example, you've actually got 5 different levels of gamma, and therefore if there are some misalignments with calibration in the factory, you can actually correct that within the hardware of the monitor itself and not be relying on software issues. So that is probably going to be my main gripe throughout this review. Other than that, as I say, once calibrated, the colours on this monitor are very good. Response time is outstanding. The aesthetics of the monitor I personally love. I love the understated, we've got kind of, I think you call it like a midnight grey base on this black bezel, on this black stand. You've got a black bezel, you've got thin, fairly thin bezel at the bottom here. It's probably about a centimetre wide, and then you've got these ultra thin bezels around the top. You've got a bit of a gap between the side of the bezel and where the actual active pixels on the screen actually start, but it looks so attractive. It's kind of, it looks premium, it feels premium, but it's kind of understated. It hasn't got all these LEDs and you know, mega gaming logos all over the place and things like that. It actually feels like a monitor that you'd like to use for something other than gaming as well. The monitor offers a good range of height and rotate settings. The action of the monitor is quite stiff to get started, but then goes quite smooth once it begins moving. Goes to quite a low height and goes to quite a decent level of adjustment. It can also be rotated around and to the side here and into a portrait mode, and obviously rotated back into landscape. Let's have a look at some of the ports. So moving on to looking at some of the ports for the monitor, we've got 2 USB 3.0 jacks on the left hand side of the monitor towards the bottom left, which looks quite attractive. We've also got a headphone jack. Coming around the side of the monitor you can see it's got these nice grills at the bottom, which I guess would be for thermals and making sure the heat is ventilated out. You've got two USB 3.0 ports at the bottom there, and a downstream port for the computer. Moving on, this is a G-Sync 2 module, so it's got a HDMI port at the top there, which can be used for other devices, not for G-Sync. And of course the important display port, which you'll need to use for G-Sync. You've got a audio upload jack there. There's a service port there, which hopefully Dell will use one day to fix the awful gamma with a firmware update. Here's hoping. And also you've got an integrated power supply on this monitor. As always, I quite like integrated power supplies as opposed to external bricks. And just a closer look at the stand. If we go around the back here, we can also see that there's a cable management hole there, which is quite useful for putting your various peripherals through. So now we come on to the all-important part of any monitor review. How does it actually look? Well, the video doesn't pick it up as well as what I can see on screen at the moment. I've got the NVIDIA control panel settings up here. The picture there that I have as my desktop background is it looks a bit washed out from what I can see at the moment. So we're currently at a gamma of 1 at the moment. If I reduce the gamma down to 0.8 to adjust the defects in the monitor, now you're probably not going to see that much difference on the video itself, but I see a hell of a lot of difference in terms of the depth of the colour here. Adjust everything and it just looks really fantastic. It's not IPS quality screen, but it's pretty damn close. If Dell had made that simple adjustment, this screen would be an easy recommendation, even over some of the IPS screens even. It's kind of annoying that they didn't actually do that at the factory, and as I say, with software there's only a limited amount you can do. So if we just bring up our dead pixel test, we can just quickly show you a few different backgrounds. So if you have a look at the black, this monitor is pretty good overall. Like with most TN screens, it's not such a panel lottery. There's very little backlight bleed, tiny bit, but the glow and the bleed that you get on these TN screens is nowhere near the level of IPS screens. So very impressive results over there, nothing to fear at all. The whiteness of the screen, again, it's a pretty good contrast overall. The video makes the right hand side look quite yellow. I don't see that at all in person, so I don't know why it's coming up quite so yellow. The balance to me looks pretty good. Like most screens, however, if we have a look at let's have a look at a search page. Let's type in RageQuitters, for example, and there we go, top of the list. If we have a look at the list, one of the things that always bugs me slightly is that the overall gamma at the top of the screen is always a bit darker than at the bottom of the screen. But to be honest, even on this screen, it's pretty good overall because of the lack of bleed at the bottom. It's a very acceptable result. So once you've got it calibrated in the desktop, it looks really nice to work with. So yeah, as I say, it's a crying shame that when you get onto the games that it doesn't really carry that forward. Okay, let's move on to games test. That's what gaming monitors are all about. Okay, welcome back to our next part, the video review. The gaming review part of the video. As ever, we always like to use Titanfall as one of our examples. It's such a fast-paced game. It's a great example to use and test the response time of the panel. Even the fastest IPS panels can get so blurry in this game. You really do need a decent refresh TN screen to get the most of this, or certainly something with a backlight strobe. Where'd that guy go? seeing that. And I always like to use Titanfall as our example for that. Boom, get in. The response time of this monitor is just absolutely brilliant. One thing I would also say about this, unlike a lot of TM panels, the overdrive is being implemented very well. There's very little inverse ghosting on it, so as well as looking amazing, you're not really suffering in terms of sort of artifacts on the screen. Makes the panel an absolute joy to use. So you get killed. Right, let's use that amped wingman. Completely missed him. Boom. Hello. Where's it gone? God dear me. Oh, that went so horribly wrong. Oh, it's all on video as well. Right. Very difficult to play at an angle. Yes, the response time is fantastic. All the bad gameplay you see before you is purely my own fault. Let's kill a few grunts and look a bit better. Oh. Crushed by Titanfall. I think that's the first time I ever got taken out by Titan. Pretty embarrassing, isn't it? Right, you can see a Titan to my left. So smooth, so sharp. A real delight to use this screen. The input lag of this particular monitor is absolutely fantastic. It's just absolutely none. It's one area that G-Sync does phenomenally well, sometimes better than FreeSync. It's just the complete lack of input lag. I feel very connected to the screen. All my movements are just really fast. You don't feel any kind of disadvantage at all. Come here, you. Boom. Got you. Well, it's just a pleasure to play, as normal. I've seen him jump on there. Come on, let's get him. He's buggered off. Get. Smooth. Come on. Ugh. Rodeo time. Let's nail him. Oh, why did I just stand there? Electric smoke. Idiot. Yeah, response time, brilliant. The colours, again, as I was saying, because we're now in game, the games often take over of the colour palette. And it just looks washed out again. if you compare it with something like the BenQ XL2730Z that has a comparable quality screen, there's just no comparison. This just looks so washed out in comparison. It's such a shame. If Dell could correct that in a firmware update, this would be such an easy recommendation for G-Sync. It would be a brilliant screen overall. As it is in its current state, you really got to not put colours at your in your priority list whatsoever. Unfortunately, there is a bit of a compromise there, and it shouldn't be. It's got all of the hardware under the hood. It's just the calibration that's wrong out of the factory, which is a real shame. Oh, damn it. Oh, jump kick. Not good. Not playing well tonight. Out of practice. Come on, you. Have a bit of that. Come on, die. Right, gotcha. Radiator man. Come on. Whoa. Sure, pilot ejected then. Did he eject? I don't know. Got a radio. Come on, we got a sliver of health. Oh no, didn't get that kill. But that did look quite cool. Oh, I'm stuck. Who else's day can we ruin? Oh, come on. Gotcha. My Bane smart pistols. Absolutely hate them in this game. Well, we lost the round, but good demo. Great screen in terms of gaming performance. Really solid. In fact, arguably, I'd say it's even a touch better than the BenQ XL2730Z in that regard, because of just the lack of inverse ghosting. I'm really impressed on that front. It's probably driving you crazy by now, but if that damn gamma was sorted, then this would be the monitor to go for. Okay, let's move on to the conclusion. There we go, folks. Let's just wrap up this particular monitor review. This monitor, it's annoying. It's got all the recipes for awesome source. It's got 144 Hz. It's got that 1 millisecond response time. It's made by Dell, so it's got decent quality assurance and very good warranty behind it. It's got G-Sync. It's got an amazing G-Sync range of 30 to 144 Hz. It's incredibly responsive. The input lag is just on the floor. It feels like it's part of you and connected. But that damn gamma, oh, it's so annoying. I'd love to give this our approved RageQuitters by Gamers for Gamers award, but at the moment in its current state, I just can't. Unless you don't care about colours whatsoever, this screen is just too bleached out. For the price range, it's too bleached out. It's unacceptable. Dell should know better when it comes to these kind of screens. I know it's one of their first ventures into the gaming market, but they've got a great history with their ultra sharps and calibration. They should know better than this. So I lay the gauntlet down to ye, Dell. Either better calibration out of the box, or give us some gamma settings in the on-screen device menus that can actually be changed, so that you can recalibrate your gamma without having to use software solutions. If we do hear anything by Dell, please Dell, get in touch with us. If you're looking at this video, we will update this video and let our viewers know. But other than that, even though despite the colours and the washed out feeling about it, I definitely would say that this is an incredibly responsive screen, and it's now at a much better price point. When this monitor first came out, it was quite expensive. If you look around for deals, you can get it around about the £400 mark. For a G-Sync monitor of this size and spec, that's pretty damn good. So keep your ear to the floor and see if that situation changes. I'd take a much better punt in terms of quality control on this than some of the other vendors in the market, like Asus, for example. Yeah, let's get those colours sorted, Dell. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up at the end of the video, so many more people can see it. And if you like these tech videos that we do, please subscribe to our channel. We have regular content, and we'd like to share more and more of you guys if you like this kind of thing. My name's been Terminator UK. Thank you very much for watching.